Welcome to the Delta Canine Podcast, starring Mike Israeli. In today's podcast, we're going to have a couple guests here. We have Vinny. Vinny is a Malinois owner. We have Chris, another Malinois owner. And we have, of course, our host, a German Shepherd lover. Take it away, Mike.
Hey guys, welcome. Today we're going to talk about protection breeds. What's the preferred protection breeds we like to work with, or we recommend to people and families, and just in general, let's have an open topic about it. I know you guys both have Belgians. I'm the Shepherd guy. Don't get me wrong, I love Belgians too, but Shepherds are the best.
Don't get us wrong. We love Shepherds too, but Belgians are the best.
Okay, so Chris and Vinny, they're part of my team. They're part of Delta team. They're head trainers, and we do train together. We do work together, but we have also different opinions about things. We share opinions. We come up with solutions with different dogs. It's a very healthy, challenging environment for me to work because it's not like this way, one way, this method. We have a lot of dogs, different families, and everybody's opinion, professional opinion, is very important. So let's talk about breeds. What do you guys think was the best breed to work with as protection side of it? Chris?
Me personally, I like to work with Malinois. The reason being is when you have a well-structured Malinois built properly, from a puppy to the age of an adult, I don't really have to show them much. I don't have to build drive. I don't have to worry about different environmental stuff. What I've noticed is when I got a dog from a reputable breeder, at 6 to 8 weeks, I was able to drop the puppy and already play with him. Not have to ask too much for the puppy or worry about too much of the puppy. You literally drop the dog on the floor, put a rag out, he's over there and grabbing it. You know, that's preferably what I enjoy.
On the bite side of it, it's perfect.
And the bite side of it is damn near perfect. Yes, we still have to adjust some things as they begin having bad habits sometimes with different owners. But personally, with good trainers like us here, we can build the dog up with no problems. Build the dog up to have a solid dog by our side.
And what's your opinion?
So I think personally that a well-bred Malinois and a well-bred Shepherd have a lot of similarities. I'd say the only downfall to having a Malinois for the everyday person is their energy, right? If it isn't expressed properly, if they don't have the right outlets, that's going to turn into a chaotic behavior, and then the Mal gets a bad name. As opposed to the German Shepherd not having so much of the drive as the Malinois does, they're much better family dogs. They're much better for the everyday person, but when we get into like the really hardcore military stuff and all that stuff, Malinois just outperform just because they have that extra gas in the tank, that extra fuel reserve. But when you talk about it, both dogs can do similar things. One might be faster, one might be stronger. That becomes preference already, right? But making sure the dog's in the right hands is the most important thing. And understanding what your client wants, who they are as a person, what kind of lifestyle they live, picking the right dog for them is more important than them wanting the dog that they saw on Instagram or something like that.
What do you guys think about Can Corsos or Dobermans?
So the Corso, I feel like, is one of the dogs that's 90% of the time a well-bred Corso has that genetic instinct to be a family,
dog.
like defensive dog, a property guardian kind of dog, right? Once you start teaching them bite work and stuff, I think they're good, but it's hard to find a well-bred Corso nowadays.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna piggyback off of Vinny. It is hard to find a well-bred Corso nowadays. Preferably, I like to build as a decoy. I like to build the dog with, any mastiff breed that's defensive. I like to try to give them as much prey as possible, so that way we can have an even balance, and it's not just relying on being defensive.
Right.
That guy running, across the fence back and forth. Most Corsos, bark, bark, bark. He's running that way. Okay, I'll wait for him to come back this way.
Right.
Bark, bark, bark. When you have a good bred Corso, you have an even balance of those two. Oh, I'll chase that fence. I'll come back to the other corner. I'll go back to the other corner with that defense mechanism on the outside of the fence.
What about their stability around kids, family? What you guys think about the personality?
Yeah,
of
so from like
Corsos?
all of the dogs that we've trained, all the Corsos we've trained, and just from like seeing everything else, they're phenomenal with their families. If they're raised with the family, they're great with kids. They're great with elderly. I've never really seen one of them have too much handler aggression or anything like that. Turn around and bite somebody in the family. Maybe a scared, insecure one, yeah, but most of the time the Corsos, they're great family dogs. People that have low energy, they might have a big enough yard or something like that. But that's probably the best for someone that's not too active.
Well, in my opinion, if we talk about Ken Corso or Doberman, I believe they have this personality of trying to dominate in the owners at one point when they're about a year and a half. So I always recommend owners to not allow them growl at them or be more of a possessive on their stuff. So it's a very, very important thing for the owners to understand the breed and not allow them to do, because they're gonna try.
Yeah.
So
most
if
definitely.
it works,
They get the win.
something is gonna happen down the line, which is I don't see that a lot with Shepherds or Belgians. That's why when people are choosing those breeds, I do let them know, like especially males, they have this. You have to be tough enough to be not only a dog owner, not only love your pet, but also be tough enough to control that presence, that personality.
I'd say the Doberman fell off, man. It's you know how hard it is finding a Doberman that works, that bites.
We have to get them special import.
Yeah, special import or from proven lines. But the Doberman is one of the breeds that people have just overly bred, and now majority of them have health issues, and it's kind of the same with almost all the dogs. They've overbred Corsos, they've overbred Mals, they've overbred Shepherds, and people aren't doing their homework. They're not, using the right bloodlines. So
Well, generally, I'm assuming you guys gonna agree with me. It's very important how to breed, right?
Yep.
Because now it's Shepherd, Belgian, or any other breed. If you do it wrong, you just put in the male next to a female and you just have puppies. That's not enough.
yeah,
A
definitely.
lot of people, that's what they do, and it's wrong.
Well, I love this male and I love this female because
Yeah, I
of
like
mine.
this color.
Hey,
I like
let's just
this
do
color.
this.
Let's put it together.
Yeah.
Let's get unique color. What about the rest?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Color is just okay. Looks good, or whatever it is. If you get those,
That's just a
colors,
bonus.
Yeah, right?
That's a bonus.
But they don't
you know?
calculate the rest of it. Drive of these dogs is a good match, and that's what brings the name of the breed down or up.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Like personally, I do not like working with Dobermans unless if it's the really right one to work with, which is recently we just import one for a client because he just really wanted it, right? But yeah, that's why I always say before you get into this or have a dog, buying a dog or getting as a gift, think twice what you get into.
Yep.
And if
Do
you
your
make sure you
research.
have the time for it, make sure you understand the breed, make sure you talk to professionals and understand.
And you get the proper training for it too. I feel like a lot of people that get dogs nowadays don't do their research. They don't know what kind of dog they have, and then therefore they don't give the dog the right kind of exercise or the right kind of mental and physical stimulation that it needs. You know what I mean? So a lot of people I see downtown LA, 50th floor, and they have a husky, or they have an Australian cattle dog. And he's biting and he's aggressive and he's pulling. Well, you got to give these kind of dogs an outlet.
Yeah.
Those dogs are meant to run miles and miles and not be in a
Push herds of
downtown
cows
apartment.
and,
Exactly.
things like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
So there's a concept, obviously, of an on and off switch. We probably heard that some dogs with like higher drive seem to have an on and off switch. Is it true that those dogs are probably better suited to have a handler by their side when doing protection work? And like, where's that line between a dog with a lot of drive and being, I guess, autonomous in their ability to protect the property? If you understand what I'm saying, because some dogs just are naturally territorial, they'll naturally protect things. Like, can you have both? Can you have a really high drive dog that is really on off, and still have like a dog that is territorial and protecting?
In my personal beliefs, I believe that you can. It has to be built, right? So, as a puppy, I'm looking at the overall picture, right? I want my handlers by the puppy at all times. It gives them the confidence. Now, if the puppy is seeking for handler help, like, oh, let me just get my attention, that's when I take the handler away. But other than that, I have the owner stay next to the puppy for two reasons. They feel comfortable with the owner, and they have most confidence with the owner. The reason being is because they live with them 24/7, right? So you can build guardian work with a Mal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Genetically, is he guardian breed? No. Corsos are, Mastiffs are.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the types of dogs that I would suggest for guardian work, right? If you're looking to do property protection stuff, a nice Mastiff would do just fine. If you're looking to go outdoors and do different things, I would suggest Shepherds, Malibals, Dutch Shepherds, those type of dogs that are a lot more driven to do and perform.
I think we could touch on Mike's personal talk about this. This is a good one for Gruff. Gruff is that dog that has the perfect amount of prey, the perfect amount of defense. He's autonomous when it comes to guarding the house. Mike doesn't have to be there. Nobody has to be there. But he's not the kind of dog that's just going to go out of his way to find a problem. He's the kind of dog that solves the problem when it finds him.
Well, he's kind of a dog. He doesn't want problem, but
Mhm.
if there is a problem, no problem.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
if we talk about the owner or the handler to be there for the dog all the time, as far as you were mentioning about confidence and all of the helping the dog, yes, that's a perfect point. But also, the way I raise a puppy, or the way I think it should be right way to go, you gotta manage that. Also, you gotta give the puppy and the dogs independent time, separate time, give him chance to make decisions,
Yeah.
right decisions.
Whether it's right or wrong, give him
Yeah,
the chance to make
you
it.
need to
Yeah.
you need to let the dog sometimes just make a decision, and then if you need to correct that decision or guide it to the right way,
Yeah.
fine. But I do want to see, when I work with the dog, I want to see the potential of, okay, what this dog is gonna do at this second, instead of always showing him what to do.
Yeah.
Because when they're by themselves, or you're not there, your child is there, or your family is there now, he needs to make decisions what to do. He's looking at your kid and like, okay, what am I doing?
Say the word. Say the word. Yeah.
Or whatever it
Mhm.
is, right? I want the dog to be smart enough to make right decisions.
And I think that's where a lot of threat analysis comes into play, right? A lot of the stuff we do is teaching the dog, okay, you're in a sit next to me, I'm shaking the bad guy's hand, the bad guy attacks me, you analyze the threat and you engage in it before I even get the chance to say something, right? So showing the dog those pictures, and also living in a house is much different than living in an apartment, right? So me personally, I live in an apartment with my Malinois. I've never had the need to do any property protection with them, right? He already fires up if somebody opens the front gate. I know somebody's in the building. God forbid someone knocks on my door. I know he's firing off, right? So I've never done those things where, okay, this is a fence, this is a perimeter. Anytime somebody comes in here, you bite. He knows that because we've trained when somebody walks in through the door, you bite. So showing these dogs the different pictures of, hey, you're allowed to do this.
Like in my dog scenario, let's say a mailman comes, right?
Mhm.
He comes to my gate. My dog will not aggressively attack,
Mhm.
will not try to get this guy, he will go at him, bark. It's like, okay, wait here. He will come bark at my door. It's like, okay, there's a guy here. Come see him. He's here for
Yeah.
you. So he understands who's who. Simple. I have a cul-de-sac, pretty much. He knows all of the neighbors.
Right.
He knows the cars. If the neighbor comes in or they walk around, he doesn't bark. If a stranger comes to the block, he will bark. Let me know that, okay, there's somebody else here, or the neighbors. My
Right.
neighbors love my dogs.
Right.
So they're like, I go home, they have like treats, gifts, and all of, I'm like, I don't need it. They're like, no, he deserves it. You know what I mean?
We feel safe with him on the
Yeah.
block. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, or if I bring him to here or I go somewhere with him, they all call, is Gruff okay? Is Gruff? Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah.
He's doing
Uh-huh.
fine. He's just, he's working.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I think it's very important to balance things, right? Or sometimes you see a lot. I tell people like, okay, you love your dog. I understand. Your dog loves you more than anything.
Right.
What about respect?
For sure.
Does your dog
Respect.
respects you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves me. I'm like, okay, tell him something, and then they will try a couple things. The dog,
Yeah,
is
it's
like,
like
They go sit, 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 sit.
sit. Yeah.
Oh, the 10th one that they sit.
yeah,
Oh, we don't have a treat or his favorite ball right now.
exactly. We're in a
Uh-huh.
different place. He doesn't know this place.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter
Right,
if your
right.
dog respects you. Your command is a command.
For sure.
Right.
Or I say, don't ask the dog to do anything. Tell the dog to do something. Okay,
Definitely.
because asking, hey baby, please do this, it's just not gonna work.
Right.
That's when I put that word of discipline. The dog needs to be disciplined. The dog needs to understand place is place, down is down, don't bite is don't bite. When I say it,
Yeah.
I mean it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, and that's what the glitch comes between the human being and a dog's. And because of the way you raise that, down the line creates conflicts, liabilities, or the dog becomes reactive, aggressive, or whatever it is. Now, one incident happens, they say, okay, this dog is vicious, crazy, bad dog. No, you just raised it wrong.
So how is it possible that you can take a dog that is to make the distinction between the guard dog and the protection dog, Malinois being like the prototypical protection, and let's say a Corso like a prototypical guard dog. If these things are genetic, is it possible? Is first of all, can you make a guard dog a protection dog, and can you make a protection dog a guard dog as well?
I think those are pretty much really similar things. There might be a couple discrepancies between the two of them. I think most protection dogs are guard dogs, and I think most guard dogs have a lot of potential to be protection dogs. There is a fine line, right? There is like a lot of the obedience, the advanced obedience, maybe the on and off leash recalls, the send to a bite out recall, stuff like that is more on the protection side. So it definitely can be taught to the right dog, right? The dog just has to have the right motivation to do it. And one thing I want to touch on too is we talked about a lot of German Shepherd, Belgian Malinois, Doberman, Corsos, but we didn't talk about the Rottweiler. I want to talk a little bit about the Rottweiler too.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
To refer to his question,
Yeah.
if the dog has the potential to work, you work the dog. But also
Yeah.
with that, I think you have to be fair enough to consider their weight, their genetics.
Yeah.
I don't never ask the dog to do something that it's not for that dog.
Yeah.
You cannot ask Corso jump to the roof. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
right? You cannot force it to do. Maybe you force it, he will eventually do it, but you're damaging the dog. So as long as the dog can take it,
Yeah,
I'll give that extra mile.
for sure.
But if not, if I feel like it's not fair to the dog, I will not do it for the client or a person. I don't care how much money they have or how much they want to go for.
Yeah.
Well, it
You-
sounds like a
you
protection
can't.
dog is like more of a disciplined dog, or at least that's the impression being on the outside, than a guard dog. Is it accurate to say that a guard dog naturally, I guess, based on its genetic makeup, is a little bit more of a liability because it has that natural guarding ability?
Every dog that knows how to really bite, it's a liability, right? Now, I always say, bite or aggression, it's a tool. So dog has this tool in his bucket, and he doesn't know what is it for.
Yeah.
So, or you're gonna wish that he will figure out, or you're gonna be like, okay, whatever he wants to use it, it's fine, or you actually gotta teach them how to use it. And again, if you're choosing a breed that you know it's a guard dog genetically or a protection dog, and you don't train it properly, then whatever happens, it's not the dog's fault. It's your fault.
Yeah.
And I don't blame the dog for it. If you see 6 months old here, this dog is creating that aggression comes out, and you don't do anything about it. It's the same thing when you have 13 years old child does drug or does something crime and you don't stop it, and then he's going to become a criminal and end up in a jail. Whose fault is it? The child's or yours? It is your responsibility when you have a dog like that. Understand your dog, the potential, and train it properly. And if we come back to training, right? I always tell, listen, the best training you can give to your dog, it's when you train your own dog. If you have the knowledge and
Right.
the time. There is no other perfect
Yeah,
training
because
in
of the
this
bond.
world.
The bond is so tight when you do it. The communication, it's so clear. Like as a trainer, training other clients' dogs and doing like the transfer, the go home sessions and stuff like that, trying to explain to the client more of why I'm doing what I'm doing as opposed to just lure this and just do it because this is the right way, right? I try to break it down to this is what you want to do to have the most clearest communication with your dog. You don't want any gray area. It should be black and white. You can do this, you can't do that, right? Those two things should never mix.
Right.
And explaining that to the client where it's like you have to be accountable. When the dog goes home after board and train, there are new rules. Right, you have to show the dog, and I tell them keep a leash on the dog for a few days, right? Whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
guide them through the house. Whatever wasn't acceptable, go back to that and see if the dog is trying to revert back to their old ways, right? And if they are, hold them accountable. I think that's the biggest thing is the lack of accountability, where people will get these mastiff breeds or get these genetically working dog breeds, but they won't do anything with it. And we're not telling people that just because you get a Mal or just because you get a Shepherd or a Corso, you have to train it and you have to do protection with it. But you need to know what you have. You can't have a liability. You need to have a well-behaved dog. Most of the time it's, oh, he never really does this. I'm so surprised. Or the famous last words before I get bit is, he doesn't bite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure we can all relate to that. You know what I mean? So it's like,
He's just being protective.
yeah. Oh, he's never done that before. Well,
It's
you don't know your dog then, you know?
Right. So, based off what your question was, I don't think it's ever a liability. It's a responsibility. Sorry, I don't think it's ever a liability. It's a responsibility within the handler and the trainers.
Mhm.
It's our duty to make sure the dog's understanding what, and it's our duty to transfer that to the owners as well. My personal protection dog, I could take him down the Hollywood Boulevard. I could take him to the Los Angeles Strip, Las Vegas Strip, wherever we go. I know my dog is gonna be able to perform in that scenario.
Yeah.
Now I take a guardian dog or defensive type of dog to that scenario. Now that could be iffy.
Yeah.
right? Now either he's scared, reactive, shut down. There's different aspects in all this. So starting at a young age with a guardian type dog to expose them everywhere.
Yeah,
That's what
definitely.
I would suggest. You could have a guardian dog be a protection dog, but you have to start really soon.
Yeah.
So that doesn't diminish, I guess, if you is there any such thing as like over socializing at a young age that can diminish its ability to guard?
So it's not about socializing. It's about new exposures.
Yes.
Environmental, the people walking by. Now, this person walking by doesn't have to say hi to my dog, but my dog doesn't have to go and bite him at all. He could be relaxed, calm, and it's up to the owner and trainer to keep that dog in its position.
And to add something to that, a lot of people think it's not okay to tell the stranger, it's not okay to touch my dog. It's not
Yeah.
okay to give a treat to my dog.
Yeah.
Right.
They're like, people look at me differently. I'm like, listen, it's your dog, your decisions. You're raising a protection dog.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be friends with everybody. He's not supposed to attack people, but he's not supposed to take treats or no, other people, they're not supposed to touch your dog. And if the person in front of you doesn't understand that, Who cares?
Fuck
Who
'em.
cares? Imagine, like I always compare. I don't know, people say I compare kids to dogs, people to dogs. It's the same thing. It's my child. I raise the way I think is right. No, you're nobody there to tell me why you disciplining your child. It's my child. It's my responsibility to raise the way I want to raise it, right? If you're gonna be offensive or whatever you want to call it, I'm sorry, it's your problem. So don't ever be shy or feel not good about it to say, hey, I'm sorry, it's a protection dog. You cannot touch or you cannot give a treat. It's simple.
Piggybacking off of Mike, I always tell my people that ask me to pet my dog, how would you like it if I pet your wife? How would you like it if I pet your husband? Right? People then start to understand, oh, well,
It's personal. It's a little more personal.
if I go over there, pet Vinny's wife, or touch her, Vinny's going to get upset. That's
Send a
his,
dog
that's
on your
his,
ass.
Same thing with my dog. That's my dog, right? And anybody that's gonna pet my dog is gonna be in my family, right?
Yeah.
And then everybody else, he doesn't have to be worried about,
Yeah, exactly. I think the most important thing about socialization is that the most important thing people get wrong about socialization, that doesn't mean you go out and people touch your dog. Right? Socialization is more of them seeing and people watching and different noises and smells and just exposure more than it is, hey, come pet my dog, or hey, give my dog a treat, something like that. You know what I mean? Socialization is so misunderstood and
Humanized.
It's very humanized.
And
Exactly.
again, we're talking
Yeah.
about dogs that genetically have the potential to guard, bite.
Yeah,
or
man
you raising
aggression.
it. I'm not talking about Maltese. I'm not talking about
Labradoodle.
Yeah.
small breeds, happy breeds. Fine. If you're a person that wants to have a dog that is okay with everybody, plays with everybody,
Yeah.
and all of that, that's why you have that specific breed.
Exactly.
But if your goal is okay, I want my dog to protect my family, my kids, do the job, or work for me, or work with me, then that's how you raise it.
Definitely.
Well, I got a question about socialization, especially with a young working dog, right? So, what's your policy, each of you, on you bring in a puppy at 8 weeks old? Are you prioritizing house rules? Are you prioritizing biting ability and building drive? Are you prioritizing what exactly does that look like for each of you?
I'll take this one first. I think the most important thing when I get a 8-week-old puppy is bond with him. Most important thing, I want that dog to trust me more than anything. So the first 2-3 days might be a whole lot of me and him just hanging out, playing around, maybe some food work and stuff like that. But I would say creating a bond with the dog is more valuable than anything you can teach him. You know what I mean? I think you and your dog, particular, Mike, have a very strong bond. And I've seen this when you go out of town. You know what I mean? You guys have such a bond where it's like you can't train that bond. So that's first thing is bond. And then after that, it's potty training.
Yeah.
No peeing in your crate, making sure the dog's potty trained. And then I think after that, we'd go into the work and stuff like that.
And by bonding, I think Vinny also means is playing with the dog.
Yeah, definitely.
Enjoying
Yeah.
bite work, enjoying environmental stuff, right?
Like a
Going
fun.
going over the A-frame, going onto a placemat with all positive, no negatives, right? Just teaching the dog with food or a toy.
100%.
Hey, let's
Build
get to work.
confidence, yeah.
No conflict. No conflict.
Build confidence,
Yeah.
make it fun. And that's when the part comes, like I do get a lot of questions of why we don't do home session trainings, why we don't do like daily trainings. I always tell people, listen, once you're there, I'm nobody for your dog. You gotta give me opportunity to bond with your dog. You gotta give me opportunity to become a trainer for your dog.
Yeah.
If I'm just a guy who gets that leash and knows some tricks and corrects your dog, and you think that's a training, that's not a training. Give me that time to bond with your dog. Let me deserve that trust from your dog so I can become the teacher. How I become the teacher if
There's
he's
no
not
respect.
accepted?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not accepting me. So once you're not there, 2-3 days, I'm the good guy. I feed this dog. I play with this dog. He opens up with me. He trusts me now. Now when I do correction, he takes it as a correction. Not like, okay, this guy
It's
is
just
mean to
unfair.
me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I refuse trainings like that. And personally, you know how many celebrities offered us, like, whatever
Yeah.
you want, come train in my house. No, I don't believe into it. I need to gain that bond. I need to remove you from this picture for a little bit, work with your dog,
Yeah.
become somebody for your dog, and then we will. So you've seen a lot. We get the dog in, train, finish. Now it's transfer time, right? It's an amazing feeling when the owners come in. I say, go say hi. He goes all over. He says hi to the family, and then he comes back to me again
Yeah.
and tells the same thing to me. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I love you,
Yeah.
but let me say hi to my family.
Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling, right?
is, yeah.
The dog needs to trust and love his trainer. No, it's not gonna work.
Right.
So
At what age then do you guys start to introduce corrections?
That all varies on each different dog.
Yeah.
The dog that you have in front of you is what you'll be judging that off of. Me personally, my pit bull, American Pit Bull Terrier, I didn't do no corrections, no nothing until a year old, and that's when I started implementing his obedience. So it all depends on what dog you have in front of you. Malinois, you can do that a little bit sooner. American Pit Bull Terriers, a lot of handler sensitivity,
Yeah.
correction sensitivity. So things like that is what plays into effect on what you're gonna do with your puppy.
So it's really
Exactly.
about how they take it.
Yeah, definitely. Every dog. Yeah. every
I
dog.
had trainers come in for interview to be hired here, and I'm like, okay, so how you start, how you train a dog, right? They're like, I have my methods. This is my methods. This. I'm like, okay, fine. Have a good day, because unless you see the dog, unless you understand the dog, there's no methods.
Yeah.
Based on the dog, I will try to come up. And for me, every dog is custom training.
Yeah. Definitely.
I need to understand what's wrong with this dog. I need to understand drive of this dog. I need to understand
and what the family wants too.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what their
how you
expectations
come up
are.
with the method if you don't know what you're dealing with.
Mhm.
How you do behavior modification if you don't know the core of the problem,
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
right? Just the dog is reactive. You pump the dog, he stops. No, it's not gonna work. It is not gonna work. It might temporarily work in your hands because you're tough enough to control it, but it will go back in client's hands because you didn't clear it.
And at a year old, and they
They got
have a
attacked
problem.
or something happened.
Mhm.
So I have to have this dog to understand what is it that happened. If they know, if the client knows, okay, this is what happened after that, he became reactive.
Yeah. There
Now,
was a trigger.
yeah,
Yeah. If
I
we
know
what
the
the trigger is.
But if the dog is rescued or it's went hand to hand and they don't know the cause, now it is my job to find out,
Figure
the
it out.
cause,
Yeah. Exactly.
right? So again, it's very unique even from a puppy age, or sometimes we have brother sister, one works, one doesn't want to work, and based on our evaluation, okay, this one is going to need more time because he's maturing a
Slower.
little slower.
Yeah.
So it just really depends on a puppy or a dog.
Yeah.
I'd like to know, like, from each of you. Let's start with Vinny. Just take me through, like, say, the first 6 to 9 months of you raising your personal dog, and I just want to see compare each of you how you raised each of your dogs.
So for me, every meal comes from my hand. I won't give a dog free food out of a bowl. They're going to have to do something for it, whether it's chasing me, making it a fun game, working recall, sits, downs, whatever. Just for the first 9 months, for the first year, I would say they won't eat out of a bowl, just so I have that engagement with my dog, that the dog knows everything good comes through me. That's what I would do. And then a lot of exposure. I'm going to take my dog everywhere I can, grocery store, the beach, outdoor malls, like literally anywhere that I can take him, I'll take him, and he'll eat his food in my hand while we're out in these places.
Yeah.
So it sucks, but waking up 6 a.m., whatever, 7 a.m., take the puppy out, make sure he doesn't pee in his crate and stuff like that. That's a huge priority for me is potty training. So I hate cleaning kennel piss and shit. So I'm very on top of like making sure that they go out in a timely manner. And just literally, man, the first year is a lot of I'm your homie. I'm your best friend.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a whole bunch of fun stuff together. But
For Dexter in particular, I'm just trying to get specifics about your dog.
Right.
Like, when did you start correcting him? Then what was your expectation?
I let
of him,
Dexter
obedience-wise?
be a monster until he was 6 months old. I would walk him on a harness until the point where he was like already dragging me down the street. That's when I put a prong collar on him, and that's when I started teaching him how to walk on a leash. But until then, I'd let him be proactive. I'd let him bark at people running by. I'd let him kind of just feel like he's a monster and that he's unfuckwithable. Nobody can
Yeah.
touch him.
Right.
You know, and then once he got to the age where he was a little bit bigger and he was a little stronger and he understood, okay, who's the man? You know what I mean? I have to show him discipline. I had to show him direction. You can't do this. You can't do that. That was around the 7-month-old mark. And then after that, he understood, man. He's been a great dog since. I've had no issues with him. And yeah, we still to this day, I let him be a monster sometimes. And then there's other times where I'm like, all right, dude, you have to literally stay next to me no matter what. And we went to that school that we did that video at. That was one of the most impressive things. I had him off leash, focused healing in front of an auditorium of 300 kids clapping and trying to get his attention. That was one of the coolest moments where I'm like, damn, my dog really loves me and he's working for me. He's not just working because of the reward, or he's not working because I'm making him. He's working because he wants to work for me.
He's having fun with it.
Yeah, he's having fun with it. I think that's my most important thing, is like making sure I like the dog too.
Right.
Let's start with that too. You know, that's really important, because if I get a dog and he's just too much or he's not enough, and that all has a lot to do with the way I raise him as well, right? So making sure that, one, he loves me and I love him back, you know.
Yeah, so for me, I built my dog with just bite work, right? My American Pit Bull Terrier X, I know I'm speaking about pit bulls right now, but he is my personal protection dog. I built bite work because his genetics wanted to fight dogs, right? His genetics was wanting to go and cause problems. So instead of me allowing that to happen, I had my buddy come up at 5 months old, put him on a back tie. Hey, if he doesn't fire up on you, smack him. I mean, smack him. And he's 6'6", you know, black dude, big guy. Walked up to him, didn't fire off, smacked him, 360'd around the chain, and came back fired up. Whoa! Ever since then, bite work was it. And that's how me and him got that relationship.
Well, here's the thing. Just if we're talking about specific our dogs, I do not compare my dog to client's dog or regular person's dog. I say, look, I've been all my life working with canines. I know how to raise my canine for me, right? This is right for me.
Yeah.
So generally, sometimes I do say that amount of training I did for client dogs, I never had with my dog. My dog was just literally, he was 2 months old. He was just always with me. I was talking to him. Anything I was doing, just, hey, let's go do this. Let's go do this. Let's go do this. So my dog really understands words, conversations, and he's been around my kids, you know, since my son was 3-4 years old when he came in. So it was more of I was interacting with him, more of like I'm interacting with a child or human than to a dog.
That was your best friend. That's your
Yeah,
homie. That's your
yeah.
little homie right there. Yeah.
I will allow him to do things. I will challenge him to do things. You know, I wasn't too much like, oh, let him not eat this, let him not chew this. He was just open doing. I was doing construction. He was coming off of the rocks like, I'm here. Okay. So, yeah, Graf for me is a totally different dog. Yeah. So and if you ask about corrections, what age you start giving corrections, generally I believe, and again, this is for me, this is not for other people, I do not start giving correction until I see my dog is tough enough. So I give him that full opportunity to be tough,
a monster,
yeah. And then I adjust much as I want to adjust.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean he's being tough. It's challenging me, because he will never challenge me. But I want him to open up to his full potential, and then drop it down. If I see like, okay, he's 6 months old, 8 months old, now he's little too much on one direction, I will correct that and guide it to a different directions. But it's just based observing how he's growing,
Yep.
how he's thinking, how he's making progress. That's when I start pulling plugs. Same thing right now. We're working with his puppy, Virus, his 8
The
months old.
virus.
Virus. I call him Virus.
Yeah.
It's the one name in. I'm assuming nobody else has.
Yeah,
it.
nobody's
His
ever
name
named
is
their dog
Virus.
virus. Yeah, exactly.
So he is a virus.
Yeah.
He's 8 months old. You see him.
Yeah, he calls him a puppy,
he's a
but no,
monster.
he's a full-grown dog at 8 months old.
Yeah.
Understanding what his job is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So you know, I don't like going buying suits from the stores. I make for myself
Uh,
because that's how I feel.
yeah,
comfortable.
custom made.
Custom made. So dog is custom made. This dog is custom made for you. That's how we approach to our clients. This
Yeah.
dog is custom made for you, for your family, for your lifestyle. Now, when it comes to point of how much you want to give him freedom or choices, and again, it comes from you too. It's not what I like. It's what you like as a owner of that dog.
Yeah,
right?
I think touching off of what you just said, the difference between what we do here and what other people do is the custom approach, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to like just building protection dogs and then selling them. We build the dog with the client for the client's needs, what they want, what their lifestyle. We pick the dog that matches their lifestyle. So I think that's the most important thing, man, is like
I have a
custom
question.
tailor-made
I
training.
really have a question here
Uh-huh.
for everybody, right?
Okay.
You know how we transfer mature protection dogs, right?
Yeah.
They come in a couple times.
Yeah.
We make sure energy matches. We make sure kids are okay. We make sure it's not threat to kids. We do so many home visits.
Yeah.
Make sure this dog is good in the new environment. If there is other pets, so it takes about like good 3 to 4 weeks
Yeah.
to
Minimum.
do a transfer.
Yeah.
Can you explain me how people sell? People walk into a dog training facility, buy a ready protection dog, and get out. How?
Yeah.
Or how they buy it from Europe, ship it here.
With
have a
no
protection dog.
training, no trainer.
How?
Yeah.
And when I say, no offense to anybody, guys, it's just opinions, right? When I say real protection dogs and fake protection dogs, people get offended. Well, how you give a stranger a protection, 2-3 years old protection dog to a guy and say, this is your protection dog, go home. Can somebody explain?
Yeah, we'll
it?
ship him from Germany and we'll give you a list of his commands and then you can figure out from there. You know, that blows my mind. For us, literally, we just sent home a dog. It took about 8 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, the client was coming in. I was going to their house. Their kids came in. I worked with their housekeeper. I worked with their husband multiple times. You know, it wasn't just a, hey, one and done type of thing. I made sure that they understood.
And
I
until
made
now,
yeah.
we call them. We
Yeah,
guide them,
literally.
They call us, ask questions. What do we do here? What do we do
Yeah.
that? So if you don't give that support,
Yeah.
if you don't transfer that, if you're not sure if this dog is okay and safe around kids,
Yeah.
how you sell a protection dog? How you say
Exactly.
I haven't and I sell it to this person?
Yeah,
It blows my mind.
It's definitely like for them. I feel like it's more of a get the dogs out, sell them. But for us, where it's like so custom, it's so intimate with the family. It's so personal that the other day, like we sold a dog a few months ago. I'm not gonna say his name, but I texted the owner like, "How's it going? You guys came across my mind. Is everything good? Yeah, we love him. Everything's great. You know."
Yeah.
Fucking bit the gardener. I was like, oh, this good boy, you know. But stuff like that, it's like where we literally, you have lifetime support when you train with
You
us.
have to.
That's the difference, you know.
You
Whether
have to.
issues come up 2 months
You
from
know,
now,
I
2
seen a-
years.
And again, I'm
Yeah.
not making a commercial about it, but I seen a contract of a protection dog. So the guy comes in with his dog. He has a protection dog. He wants me to test the dog, and he wants me to see if the dog really bites. I said, your dog will not bite. So, which is, he saw what happened.
Mhm.
The dog didn't do anything. And he's like, okay, so what do I do about it, right? and then
At that point, you restart.
you restart. But you look at the contracts, it's just not giving space to a person to go back and fix the issue, and no even support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he literally called the facility or however you want to call it. Said, I have a problem. They said, well, now it's your dog.
It's your problem.
Yeah.
It's your dog. It's your problem.
No support.
I
at
mean,
all.
I'm sorry. We're contracts are contract. Of course, everybody needs to protect their business or whatever they're buying by a contract. But what about as human? What about as trainer? What about as a
Morals.
person who
Yeah.
raised that dog? You morals,
Yeah,
right? What happened to
principles, yeah.
this word morals people don't have, right?
Mhm.
How you just say, your dog, your problem, bye.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable.
He's
Yeah,
lucky they
it's not
didn't block his
You know,
number.
this is where it comes. See, why you here, why I'm here, right? Of course, we work. We
Right.
need to work. We need to make money to live.
Uh-huh.
But this is not work. We
No.
don't work. This is our
This is our
lifestyle. This is
hobby.
what we do,
Yeah,
right?
it's a
We
passion.
work with dogs. It's a passion. We
Passion,
enjoy
yeah.
what we do. It's not like, okay, deal. I understand. Okay, fine, man. Take it easy.
Right.
To just do what you're doing good. Make sure your clients are happy. You will get paid.
Yeah.
Remember one time I told you, when you work for money.
Mhm.
No, I said, if you work more than you get paid,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you
Yeah, I
get
know,
paid more at the end.
Yeah,
right?
if you, yeah, I know, I
Something-
remember the saying what you said.
Yeah.
Um,
So just have those morals, have those responsibilities, because it's hell of a bad thing if you have a protection dog and this dog bits their own family child. It's not good.
So we also
Speaking
have to
of that,
we
right,
also have to realize too that personal protection dogs is in a 6-foot leash, right?
mhm.
So usually a personal protection dog, that's why we keep it with the pass off right next to us, right?
Yeah.
Bark, 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 bark. Guy running down the street, if we send that dog, it's gonna be back on us.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So a personal protection dog is a 6-foot leash. Anything that comes into 6 feet, fair game. Right?
Fair game.
Yeah.
Boom, pocket. There you go. Have it.
Yeah.
So I think some of these trainers as well sell these dogs at the understanding of this is what your job is to do. 6-foot leash, and I'm not saying it's right or wrong, right? Or it should be pulled out of the kennel and be easily adjusted with. No, it's not. That's not the case at all. It has to have the right owner, the right handler, right? So that way they can understand. Oh, I got to get him a correction right now. Boom, give him the correction, right? Oh, I got to build up a little bit. Here, come here. Be comfortable with me. But it's 1 in out of 100 people that are capable of doing that, right?
There is one important thing I want to mention and talk about a little bit. How people approach the dogs, right? Or if there is kids, and I've seen scenarios like that, kids are being mean to the dogs,
Yeah.
and then something end up happening, and now the
Revert.
dog is a bad dog,
Uh-huh.
right? I had a situations like that. They want a ready dog. They didn't have time to raising a puppy and all that, because of course you have kids. We recommend start from a puppy
Yeah.
program and all of this. He had like 4 or 5 kids, bro. Literally, kids are attacking the dog,
Yeah.
kicking the dog,
Oh, wow.
and I'm like, oh, slow down, slow down. This is not gonna work like this, right? And I try to talk to kids. Hey, this is not what you. This is not a toy. This is you cannot do like this.
Right.
And I don't care. Oh, you don't care? Okay. Well, I'm sorry. We don't have a dog for you here.
Yeah.
I will not sell a dog to a situation. I will not put my dog in a situation that he has no choice
But to bite.
about to buy.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's very important. Kids, I understand. Kids are kids. It's more important than any dog.
Right.
But if you have a child that is not ready to understand the rules of having a dog, or especially a protection dog,
Yeah, literally any dog.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
you cannot have a
Mhm.
protection dog.
And
If-
that makes you responsible.
Exactly.
You know,
Yes,
that's
but
what I
also on
like
the
about
other
it.
end, a lot of people not like what I said. But if you cannot discipline your 6-year-old child, I don't think you can discipline or control a protection dog.
Correct.
So, I'm sorry, go somewhere else. if you think you still want to protect a dog.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's very important to also communicate with the owners and kids. See, you guys seen most of the time when kids here, I interact with them, I talk to them, I show them things. I need to see if this child is ready to have that dog. We have a
Shout out Paloma. Shout out Paloma. Definitely.
Right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
A beautiful 6, 7 years old.
I think she's about 6. Yeah.
6, 7,
Uh-huh.
right? She controls the dog
Yeah.
better than her father.
And let's just say he's 100-pound
Yeah.
working line shepherd who's
Shepherd.
mean as hell,
Yeah.
and she has no issues with the control.
Yeah. Literally,
Yeah.
she controls better than the father. Yeah, I'm not gonna give all of the names out, but it's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah.
It's just like I feel like I'm doing my
Wow,
job.
the dog actually understands
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
job. No matter if the father has it, the daughter has it,
Yeah.
the wife has it, the dog understands
We
the job
actually
and
had a
respects it.
post about the way she was handling, and there was comments like, "Hey, that's wrong. You don't give that much power to a child. They will abuse that situation. They will send it to another child." I'm
That's like,
no,
saying
no, no.
that's like saying like, oh, my daughter's in 3rd grade, but she's doing 5th grade math. Nah, that's wrong.
Yeah.
Put her back to 3rd grade.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
bullshit, you know
So
what I mean?
we're not just giving the child the dog and say, okay, do whatever you want to do
No.
about it. How many times I personally work, how many
Yeah.
times you personally
Yeah.
work with those kids, and now they understand how, when.
Exactly.
And for them, it was a little different because now their kids, when they're sending the dog to a bite off leash, I will tell them, go run to safe distance
Yeah.
and then recall the dog.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Get to safety.
It's a little different than the mature person
Yeah.
will do it. For the kids, I'm like, this is what I want you to do. Right? And,
Run to safety.
yeah,
Yeah.
run to safety and then recall your dog.
Mhm.
And they're doing amazing.
Yeah.
So if you compare that, you have your kitchen knives in your kitchen, the child can go get it
Exactly.
and do something.
Exactly.
If, again, you don't teach your child, hey, don't do this. This is not okay. So you have to be responsible to, as an owner or as a parent, teach your kids what to do, what not to do.
Yeah.
Or we as trainers explain the child, this is how much power this dog has. This is how you use it,
Mhm.
if needed.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just all a question of how to approach every dog, every owner.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what makes us all good trainers. Is we're able to
Exactly.
we're able to evaluate that and
Yeah.
understand. Hey, this dog probably not going to be good with kids. Hey,
Yeah.
this dog is going to be good with kids. Let's go put this dog with the family of 5.
Yeah.
that has a
Yeah.
toddler, that has a baby, that has a 10-year-old. It's all different emotions with those kids, but he understands. Hey, those kids are off limits.
Off the table.
Yeah,
Yeah.
off
we
the
just
table.
played
Mhm.
2 years old, almost year and 6 months, female protection dog. How many kids they have? 5?
Yeah.
5 kids.
5 kids, and they're all different ages too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
again, we saw all of this family here. We understood the energy, how they interact with
Mhm.
the dog. It's a very hard thing to do.
Yeah.
But I'm sorry, it's your job to do it. Take it or
Or leave it.
do something else.
Take it or leave it.
All right. Thank you guys.